Jesus is not returning. I heard someone say that not long ago, and it's difficult when you hear those words when you know the truth. And I started thinking more about it, and more people all around the world. I mean, there are multitudes that believe that. And I want to talk to you about that today in your morning cup of inspiration. See, when I heard that, it kind of set me back, and because you want to discuss it, but when you have two different grounds of foundation, if they're not going to believe that even in Jesus or in God, how are they going to believe Jesus is going to return? So I look at it this way now. They are actually fulfilling prophecy by saying Jesus is not going to return. Over in 2 Peter 3:3-4, the Bible tells us that in the last days, there's going to be scoffers and there's going to be mockers. It says, above all, you must understand that in the last days, scoffers will come, scoffing and following their own evil desires. They will say, where is this coming he promised? Ever since our ancestors died, everything goes on as it has since the beginning of creation. And aren't people saying that today? It's funny because when something happens over and over again, as we see, as you turn on the news and something's going on again, and you see how things are not getting better, they're actually getting worse. But when something happens, Deb will say to me, she'll say, look, Brian, there's nothing new under the sun. And it's true. Everything's in cycles. It just goes on and on over and over again. Just like it said here, that it just keeps happening over and over since the beginning of time. But there's been Bible's prophesied. Jesus told us he's returning. His word will not come back void. When he says it, he means it. Jesus said over in Matthew 24:38 about his return as being like in the days of Noah. He said people are going to go on as usual. They're going to be doing their daily routines and their rituals and that. They're going to be partying down, and having their good time. And they're going to ignore all the signs, the prophetic signs that the Bible talks about. See, we're in the birth pangs of the last days. It talks about that. You see things rapidly developing. Back in the 70s and 80s and 90s, kept thinking Christ can return now because things have been fulfilled, but they're even more, you see it more. It's happening more and more daily. And every year, things just keep coming up more and more that it's just around the corner. We're in the birth pangs. So Matthew 24:38 says, for in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. See, they just saw this big boat. They didn't want to believe what Noah was telling them, that the flood was coming. They didn't want to believe that. And they were caught. They were caught doing their merry way, going their merry way and doing their things and not believing. But Galatians 6:7 tells us, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Like I said, his word does not come back void. People are ignoring the signs and the prophetic signs that are out there. And I can only imagine what it's going to be like when the laughter stops and the reality sets in that Christ has returned. The only way to avoid that is to ask Christ into your life. Have a personal relationship with him. Ask him to forgive you your sins and have a one-on-one relationship so that you will be called up when Christ returns. God bless everyone. I look forward to seeing you again for another morning cup of inspiration. Have a wonderful day.